Hello, and today we'll continue with Leigh's route. I don't think I've ever been more excited to go back to class after everything that's been happening, having to just hear about basic biology concepts or about prominent books we can look into that are normal and related to dead girls. Not real ones anyway. Maybe this is what I needed. When I first got my schedule, I was excited for my Friday to be empty, and while I'm sure it'll be great later, it would have been nice to have some more normalcy and pleasant distractions from everything. Though I guess school's always been like that. Things don't change really, whether it's escaping your awful dreams or your awful house. As I'm but as I'm walking to the lecture hall for media, I know we're going to be getting back into it again. I'm glad Leigh convinced me to wait until later. If he hadn't, I probably would have been thinking about it all day. Suddenly, an arm wraps around me and pulls me to the side, nearly causing me to trip on my own feet, but a hand on my waist stabilizes me. Thankfully, I recognize who it is without needing to look. I've done this song and dance enough times by now. I'm surprised Papa Bear isn't walking you to class. I expected him to be all over you, making sure you're all safe, and other things. He had stuff to do, and I had classes all day. Still, I wouldn't have been surprised if he threw away all things his way to stand by your side. He glides his hand in front of both of us, like he's highlighting some invisible sign in an over dramatic. He glides his hand in front of us. He glides his hand in front of both of us, like he's highlighting some invisible sign in an over dramatic flare. Romantic, right? Did Lily talk to you? Nah, you two aren't exactly subtle. Hey, Charlie hasn't been responding to my messages. Now, what's going on with that? I tried to ask her, but she never got back to me. There was some family stuff. Maybe give her some space for a bit. I figured it was something big. I left her alone. Don't worry. Should I be worried about Papa Bear? I could try and cheer him up. That doesn't sound like the greatest idea. What? No way. He loves me, man. Are you trying to cheer me up? Guess I'm not so slick, huh? Must be losing my edge. You're looking a little out of it. Something happened? Just as usual, honestly. Today's been a lot better. Classes were a nice distraction. Distraction for what? I thought things were going pretty well. About that, can I tell you guys after class? It might be better to do it once everyone's around. That's a little scary, little dude. Be careful telling that to Grumpy. You might not want to let Lucas know you're thinking like that. He might lose all his fur, and that will suck. It's so soft. And I've been getting there. Maybe soon. He'll be comfortable enough to let me touch him. I'm a real affectionate guy, but I ain't gonna, push over his boundaries. I don't like that, man. I know you're not, despite what Lucas and Leigh say. I know you're a pretty great guy. And that's why you're my favorite. Now, come on, we better hurry before Papa Bear steals any more daggers at me. And that's why you're my favorite. Now, come on, you better hurry before Papa Bear stares any more daggers into me. I'm about to ask what he means, but I can see he's looking at something ahead of us. Following his gaze, I can see that it's Leigh, leaning next to the door to the lecture hall, watching the two of us approach. Already doing the overprotective boyfriend act. What? Am I not allowed to wait outside? Nah, just tugging your tail, man. You should have messaged me if you were waiting. I would have come sooner. It's not that important. I just wanted to check up on you. Hello. Bah, you're no fun. Is Grumpy here already? Lucas, I haven't seen him yet, but he might have gotten here before I did. Sounds like something he'd do. Well, I'll see you two after class. Hey, don't forget that school makes him really uncomfortable. Just don't puss him today, okay? Don't worry. I wasn't gonna mess with him. Honestly, I'm a bit worried about him. Thought he could use some company to keep his mind off things, you know? I think that's a good idea. Just don't harass him. I won't. And this way, you might evolve from Papa Bear to Mother Hen. Where's that devolving? Yeah, you get what I mean. Go. I'm going. Oscar paws away with his hands raised in the air, looking absolutely ridiculous as he refuses to lower them, even after he's opened the door to the hall. I don't see where he runs off to inside before the door closes, but I can only assume he's hunting down the poor fox. I hope Lucas is alright. I'll have to keep an eye out too. He's going to give that poor kid a heart attack. I don't know. I think he was serious about being careful. He's been doing a pretty great job considering where they started. Alright. He lets out a sigh that catches me off guard. I didn't expect this conversation to change tone so suddenly. He must have noticed my reaction because he gives a chuckle before messing with my hair again. You're right, he's doing a pretty damn good job. It's just hard to get some stuff out of my head. I know he's a good... You're right. He's doing a pretty damn good job. Just hard to get some stuff out of my head. I know he's a good guy. He just worries me. Worried for Lucas or for him. How are you doing? Feeling better after that nightmare? Yeah, actually, I'm doing pretty good. I think all the classes have kept my mind preoccupied. That makes sense. When my mom died, distractions were all I had. Outside was taking care of Charlie. I'm glad yours are more healthier than mine. I raise my eyebrow, but he just looks away. His ears folding down in the same. I know he did some stuff in high school that he wasn't proud of, but I still haven't really heard the extent of it. I'm not going to pry. It sounds like a sensitive place of pride, and no one likes their dirty laundry being dragged out. You two look like you're about to start crying. Is everything okay? I know college is hard, but we barely started. Lily's voice catches me off guard, but Leigh looks less than surprised. He must have saw her coming. She's got a beaming smile on her face, though it doesn't entirely reach her eyes, which just look filled with concern and worry. But seriously, is everything alright? Leigh looks like he's been doting on you, which is honestly more worrying than him being upset. That means something happened. Aye. Lily, can we talk after class? There's something I want to talk to you. Should I be worried or excited? A little bit of both, I think. Well, that's certainly mysterious. I can tell you two are having a moment, so I'll leave you alone. Actually, I think we're done. I was just checking in on Wallace. It wasn't anything serious. There's a part of me that's surprised that Leigh is covering for me. It's the truth, but I kinda expected him to spill the beans about my nightmare, especially to Lily, who'd almost certainly agree with me. There's a part of me that's surprised that Leigh is covering for me. It's the truth, but I kinda expected him to spill the beans about my nightmare, especially to Lily, who almost certainly agree with him. And from the uncertain look on his face, it's clear that he isn't even sure about keeping quiet here. One side eye from Lily is more than enough to let me know that she sees right through the two of us, but thankfully decides to let us go without comment. With a wave, she disappears through the doors, holding them open for us to follow after her. The first thing I do after we enter the lecture hall is scout out where Austin and Lucas are, though it doesn't take me long to see them sitting together a few seats into one of the middle rows, leaving enough space for the rest of us. They're talking to each other, though it's hard to tell if it's going well or not. Oscar's wearing his usual smug grin, which could mean literally anything. Lucas isn't much better as he just looks as grumpy as always. Lily dashes off to meet up with them, not even bothering to wait for us as she slides into the row and instantly joining the conversation. But their interaction makes Moore happy for an entirely different reason. Lucas looks much more comfortable than he did last week. I couldn't see him very well, but from even I could tell he looked like shit. Now that I think back on it, I really should have tried comforting him more. I was just scared of upsetting him further. It's not your responsibility to take care of someone you don't know. A little ironic for you to say that, maybe, consider it speaking from experience. Class should be starting soon. Right, sorry. The two of us rush down to our seats, right as the professor starts setting everything up. Leigh pulls out his massive collection of stationery that I'd completely forgotten about, so I hurried to not be left behind. I tried to pull out my notebook only to see something else in my head. Instead, the familiar purple diary brings a little bit of dread with it as soon as I see it. I put it alongside my other media book since it was related to the class and completely forgot it was there. I slide it back in and grab out the paper book, but it's hard to focus on anything as the class starts. All I can think about is that piece of the diary I found in my nightmare. Was it an actual page like last time, or was it just part of the dream? What had even happened that time? The dreams usually made some degree of sense, but the last one had been more manic than the rest. What could it have meant? My train of thought is interrupted by the familiar rough texture of Leigh's hand on top of my own. He doesn't do anything more besides gently holding it, but it's enough to drag me out of my head. He isn't even looking at me. His attention is solely on our professor as he jots down notes, his pen writing a furious storm as he nearly writes everything word for word. I have to give him some tips about note-taking. Thanks. My voice is barely above a whisper to avoid distracting any of the students, and he doesn't respond but a small smile grows on his face that gives me enough reassurance that he heard me. He doesn't take his hand away until I return to taking notes, and I'm half tempted to just forgo writing anything for the rest of the class just to keep his touch, but I know he wouldn't appreciate my irresponsibility, both to our class and for any level of secrecy we have. Even if it's rapidly dwindling with every passing hour. Despite my best efforts, it becomes increasingly hard to focus, though it isn't because of the diary this time. I'm just struggling to keep my eyes open. I must have had less sleep last night than I thought. I have a feeling the nightmare is probably to blame. I don't remember ever losing sleep because of them, but who to say it doesn't happen now? But for some reason, my eyelids are so heavy. I can barely keep them open. A light shake brings me right out of my drowsiness as I feel Leigh's arm wrapped around my waist. His hand has slid underneath my shirt and is resting against my hip, completely foregoing any sense of privacy if anyone decides to look. His attention is still firmly on the professor, and I can't stop a blush from appearing on my face. I can't believe I almost fell asleep in class. I've never done that before. Now that I've been lurched out of it, I don't even feel a little bit drowsy anymore. Honestly, it's kind of weird, but I guess I just need a little surge of adrenaline to wake me up. I shake it off and try my hardest to make sure I have any notes coming out of this lesson. Though I'm barely able to make much progress in catching up before everything's already over. I must have been zoning out for longer than I thought. I'm grateful Leigh sought. I mean, I'm, though I'm barely able to make much progress in catching up before everything's already over. I must have been zoning out for longer than I thought. I'm grateful Leigh knocked me out of it, though. Then before we know it, everyone is packing up to leave. It's honestly a little overwhelming. Why does this day feel like it's going so fast all of a sudden? Things were going so fine before I know it, we were all standing outside of the lecture hall, together with everyone chatting about something I can't really focus on. Oscar's joking with Lily, while sticking his tongue out at Lucas, who just looks happy to not be in the lecture hall anymore. Leigh hasn't left my side for a second, though. He doesn't really look too worried. Thankfully, I think he understands I'm just a little out of it and isn't anything major. At least that's what I hope he's thinking. Maybe he is worried. Maybe he is really worried and is trying to stop me from thinking he's worried. I can totally see him doing that too. Stop overthinking things. Huh? You're overthinking things, I can tell. How? You get really quiet and stare off into nowhere. Don't take this the wrong way, but you talk a lot. It's easy to tell when you're being upset. I do? Is it annoying? No, of course not. I didn't mean. He cuts himself off with a sigh and leans forward to nuzzle behind one of my ears. Despite being rather embarrassing, I can't ignore the silver that runs down my spine when he does it, or the sense of comfort it brings me. He cuts himself off. He cuts himself off with a sigh and leans forward to nuzzle behind one of my ears. Despite being rather embarrassing, I can't ignore the silver that runs down my spine when he does it, or the sense of comfort it brings me. You're adorable. I don't want you to stop. Thanks. His hands, which still hasn't left my hip, squeezes me against him before he pulls away, keeping some distance to try to repair some amount of the facade that we're not dating. Not that I think is very effective with how massive a smile Oscar's wearing, his occasionally glances in our direction, and the only reason why Lucas is still in the dark is because he looks more concerned with Oscar's antics. Which now that I think about it, is probably his attempt at drawing the attention to himself, and I have to thank him later. Lily, on the other hand, isn't even trying to be subtle about watching us with stars in her eyes. She even gives us a little wink that causes Lee to huff into my fur, unintentionally making me squirm. I don't think we're very good at keeping this a secret. Is that a problem? Not really. If I cared about what people thought of me, I had turned out into a different. I turned out to a very different man. I like you the way you are. You don't have to flatter me. You've already caught me. No need to keep tossing out the hook. Now it's my turn to huff and squirm, but he doesn't. But he. Wait. Now it's my turn to huff and squirm, but he just wraps both his arms around me, holding me in a vice grip as he continues to shove. You don't have to flatter me. You've already caught me. No need to keep tossing out the hook. Now it's my turn to huff and squirm, but he just wraps both arms around me, holding me in a vice grip as he continues to sour the back of my head with affection. It looks like he's completely given up on keeping it at a level of facade. I mean it. I know you do. I'm just getting under your skin. You've been very well behaved today, especially with all the incentive you have to not be. The break was nice. I told you it was. I told you it would be better if he doesn't finish that sentence just giving another sigh and running his claws through the fur on my stomach. But I promise I wouldn't get on your ass about it anymore, so I won't. But just know that I want to. I know you're showing a lot of restraint. I was just trying to tease him a little back, but I didn't expect him to reply with a growl and rake his claws against my skin in a way that makes my knees weak. You have no idea. With one last huff of hot air on the back of my neck, he pushes past me to go stand with the others, who are now arguing about some kind of food-related topic. It's hard to focus on their conversation with how distracted I've become in the last few seconds, and I turn away until I'm able to calm down enough to join in with him. Nice you two to finally join us. Done having a little grub session, I feel heat rush into my face, and my eyes immediately dart to Lucas, who just rolls his eyes at the crowd's comment. Austin's right. No one's ever going to take him seriously if he makes comments like that. That doesn't mean it stops my heart from racing. I wish Leigh looked just as shocked as I do, but he looks as unperturbed as ever. We're thinking of getting an afternoon snack. Do you two want to join us? That's just an early dinner. That's just an early dinner. If you're getting a meal this late, it isn't a snack. That's just dinner. You clearly can't pack away enough if you can't handle an extra meal. Makes sense, though. You're like the thinnest twink I've ever met. I'm going to ignore you now. Only now? I thought you have done that a while ago. Sounds like I'm growing on the guy. Enough. Can we just get food already? A snack or dinner or whatever? I don't care. I knew you'd come around. Lily shares a fist bump with Oscar before the two of them lead the way. Lucas just trudges back with the two of us. He looks much more exhausted than he had minutes ago. You doing all right? I'm fine, just need a break. He hasn't been harassing you too much, has he? He's not that bad. My eyes meet Leigh's as his eyebrows raise, but I just wear a smug smile. A very well-deserved and validating smug smile at that. Leigh doesn't look annoyed by it. If anything, he looks relieved. Well, make sure you keep him in check. He's just type to get out of hand. Sometimes he annoys me, but most of the time he's not that bad to be around. I wish he wasn't so loud and wasn't so confusing to understand, but it's nice to have someone to talk to. You can't talk to us? I can, but the two of you have been busy looking into the Helena project. I'm not going to take your time away from schoolwork. I don't have the heart to tell him that most of what Leigh and I have been doing has definitely not been helping the project. Come on, move it. They're getting further away, and I have a good feeling that neither of you had anything for lunch. I immediately set up, and it doesn't look like Lucas has much of a rebuttal either. What am I going to do with you two? What am I going to do with the two of you? Most of our time eating was spent either hearing Oscar talking about everything that's going on with his club, or having to watch Lily and Lucas argue about whether this counted as dinner or not. But it wasn't an unpleasant time. I could tell that Oscar and Lily are both desperate to probe the two of us for more information about what's going on, but they're being respectful for now. I have a feeling that level of respect isn't going to last very long. Eventually, we finish our meal, and there is finally a lull in the conversation. It isn't something I'm looking forward to, but I have to get it out of the way. I made a promise to Leigh that I need the help. Eventually, we finish our meal, and there's finally a lull in the conversation. It isn't something I'm looking forward to, but I have to get it out of the way. I made a promise to Leigh that I need to keep. Hey everyone, I have something I need to talk to you guys about. I didn't expect everyone to completely cut off any conversation they were having to bring all their attention to me. Both Lily and Oscar looked serious too. Had they been waiting for something like this? Did Leigh mention something? You finally gonna tell us what's been bothering you? How do you know? Did Leigh? Well, honey, you're not exactly subtle about anything, really. You were, you were totally out of it. Wallace, honey, you're not exactly subtle about anything, really. You were totally out of it at class, or all class. You look bothered. Wallace, honey, you're not exactly subtle about anything, really. You were totally out of it all class. You look even worse than me. He went from Lucas hits a lot harder than the others. Oscar's way more observant than everyone gives him credit for, and I've been telling Lily a lot about what's been going on. But Lucas should be completely in the dark, and even he could tell I wasn't doing great today. I guess I've been worrying you guys, haven't I? Not really. If there's anyone that'll keep your head on straight, it's Papa Bear. I knew you were gonna be fine, you know? I was a little worried, but I had my own stuff to deal with. It's still uncomfortable being in there. Honestly, Leigh, hovering over you made me more worried than the way you were acting. I thought you might be dying or something. I think that's more of him than you. Huh? I'm not the only one taken aback by that statement. Leigh looks just as confused as I do. Well, in his own way. I think someone looking in from the outside might think he looked pretty chill, but there's no hiding those lifted brows or shifty eyes from me. Or anyone else from the look of things. I think he was gonna bite my head off before stealing Wallace away from locking him in some kind of dungeon. Was it really that bad? I want to say we were just teasing, but Leigh, you did look pretty on edge. Now it's his turn to feel embarrassing. I don't think I've seen him. I don't think I've seen his shameful face often. I've seen him bashful before, probably more than anyone else, but rarely sane. Of course, I was worried. You guys don't see just how bad it gets to him. I wish he would let me help him more, but I promise I respect his space. Damn, that bad, huh? I knew it wasn't great, but I didn't think it was that bad. It makes sense though. We threw some, we threw some pretty bizarre things at that can. We threw some pretty bizarre things, and that can be a lot more, and that could be a lot on someone. What do you think, Wallace? This is about you, after all. Well, I made a promise to Leigh, as well that I wouldn't keep doing things on my own, mostly reading the diary. I agree with him on that. To be this supposed to be our group project. It isn't great if only you know the details. You don't need to shoulder everything. Yeah, man. Where are we going to get the juicy deets? So I have something to admit. I have another nightmare last night, and it was kind of like the rest, like the hospital. Was anyone else there? No, it was just me this time. What was the same then? A few things, most of them were just a feeling I was having. It was the same as my other dreams, but I also found another diary entry in the dream, one I swear I haven't read yet. Another one, huh? That's certainly creepy. Leigh saw the first one you found, right? You two were together, I think. Oh, well, I just read it out to him, but I definitely read it to him during the dream. Then I found it in the real diary later. I saw Leigh the real one, too. I still think you could have just read ahead. It was barely ahead of where we read up to. It would have been easier to read ahead while you were tired and forget about it. But I can't stop my voice from cracking. I know Leigh's skepticism is warranted, but there's something about specifically him not believing me that cuts deep. He must have saw it because his face drops as he looks away from everyone, wiping a paw down the front of my face rough enough that I can hear his claws racking through his fur. His hand eventually stops as he reaches his choker, his fingers wrapping around it as he grips it tightly. I can't quite tell, but it looks like he's pulling on it. Thankfully, the spikes are between the gaps of his fingers. I've never seen this nervous habit of his. Usually he just pinches the bridge of his nose. Then again, I don't think I've seen him this uncertain before. Everyone else seems to have noticed since they're all already. Everyone else seems to have noticed since they are they. Everyone else seems to have noticed since they all suddenly became very interested in other things. Lily's on the phone, while Lucas just stares off into space. Even Oscar's pretending he isn't watching, though he isn't doing the greatest job of it. Listen, Wallace. His eyes shift over to Lucas for a moment, maybe trying to gauge if he's paying attention at all before he decides he doesn't care enough to make sure as he leans over to nuzzle his nose into my hair fur. I believe you trust me. This is just me hoping it isn't anything too bad. Can you let me have that? I'll always be your side. I just want there to be a side for me to be on. I don't want to believe there's another side against us. Leigh, sorry, I won't shut you down like that. I hate it when my dad did it to me. It fucked me off something fierce. With one last deep breath, he pulls away and he looks significantly better than before, though he still looks a little uncertain. He's likely worried about how I'm feeling. As much as I want to say that I'm not so weak that some affection and sweet words is enough to demolish any sadness I'm feeling, I can't stop my face from flushing and a small smile on my lips. The moment he sees it, he releases a massive breath of air he must have been holding. I knew he was worried, but I didn't think it was that bad. You guys all good? Sounds like things got a little touchy there. In multiple ways. Yeah, I'm okay. Just had a moment. Oh, it was a moment, alright. Wouldn't mind seeing it again. It's certainly appealing. Fuck's sake, Oscar. Just saying, it's pretty cute. Can we get back on topic? I think Wallace had something he wanted us to check. We're going to forget about it. It sounds like Wallace really needs it. Yeah, man, sorry. I got a little carried away. I'll lay off. It's not me you should be apologizing to. I don't know. Feels pretty good, too. Whatever, Wallace. Alright, let me just get it out of my bag. It takes him a bit of rummaging to find it. I wedged it in there after the incident during class. I really didn't want to get distracted by it again. Thankfully I didn't manage it at all. Well, thankfully I didn't damage it at all. If anything, it looked straighter than ever. I hate for anything to happen to it. Okay, it might take a little bit to find it since I don't know where it came from, but it's gonna be from later. But you read it, right? So you should be able to pick it out pretty fast. Kinda. I only got about halfway through it before something came up in a dream and I had to stop. But the page is pretty recognizable. I think I could pick it out even without reading it. We can only follow your lead, so go ahead. But I think it might be better if we just confirm this for now. It's getting a little late. Right, sorry, that's my fault. I tried to resist the urge to see Leigh's reaction to that, but I swear I heard his tail whipping against the back of his seat. I think this is more of the teacher's fault, man. I don't think you choose your schedule. Wait, can you choose your schedule? I didn't get that option. Some courses get to choose their schedule. I know most of the arts and sciences do due to space for practical classes. No, no. Now who's the well in the conversation, I was just answering a question. I was just answering a question. I don't know, just teasing and getting things back on track again. We're a bit of a mess, aren't we? It was make it's what makes us fun. Even Grumpy does it. Lucas just ignores him and that out of the way. I start to sift through the book, leaving it open on the table for everyone to view. Lucas and Leigh are only half-heartedly watching, but Oscar and Lily look very interested. I'll start off slow, going just a little ahead of where we read before thinking that it might be not too far. I'll start off slow, going through a little ahead of where we read before, thinking that it might be not too far, but it doesn't seem to only be a couple ahead like last time. Soon I'm completely scanning the pages as I flip as fast as I can go. It isn't long before we hit the big sections of torn pages and the entries become so disconnected it's hard to figure out what most of them mean without context. There's one thing that's clear from just a quick glance. There's definitely a drop in enthusiasm. It's hard to point out why, but it feels like there's a steady decline in enjoyment. I can't concrete point to any one thing. There's just a general dreary vibe from the later entries that's hard to figure out. She doesn't seem to be talking about school much anymore, and there's a lot of pages that seem to just be venting various feelings. The others don't look particularly impressed with the state of the book either. Then something catches my eye, the rapid scribbling out of words that cover a specific page that I nearly skimmed past. It doesn't take long for me to figure out this is the page. It's frantic writing and numerous stains or sets a stark contrast to anything I've seen so far. This is it. You saw, man, this looks, well, to be blunt, unreadable. I'm not so sure about this anymore. It'll be fine, man. It might be a little unnerving. Yeah, that's it. But it ain't gonna hurt us, probably. What's next, Wallace? I hadn't noticed how. I hadn't noticed had gotten close enough to be basically leaning over my shoulder to see the hook. He didn't seem very interested even a minute ago. I guess now that we're at the source of my stress, it's suddenly much more worth his attention. I can feel his tail wrapping around my legs. Knowingly, he's trying to reassure me. It's sweet, but I think I'm going to be fine this time. I only got halfway through this and I was a little distracted. I didn't really get time to process any of it. Things were hectic. That's bad, huh? Yeah, a little bit. I'd rather not think about it. No, swear off my back. Just forget about it. Thanks, alright? So I read out loud. You can't see it from over here, and it's upside down. Right, yeah. With all the mayhem that happened in that dream, while I was reading, I really don't remember much about what I read, other than Helena being very upset. Here we go, again. I just don't get it. Why was he acting like that? Why won't he? Why won't C return my calls or messages or anything? I just don't get it. I thought it would be just one little fling. I thought it would be just one little thing and we could talk about it. But she's been avoiding me for days. Mom, fucking days. We never went this long without talking. It's all over nothing. I just don't get it. We were supposed to talk to each other about everything. What changed? Where's that big of a Where's that big of a deal? She knows what's going on and she just ghosts me. What kind of fucking friend does that? That's all I got to last time. I don't even think I finished that line last time. That sounded pretty bad. That's bad? She sounded like she was having a meltdown. Is he talking about the fight she got into with Mercy? You guys mentioned that Mercy and her stopped visiting the shelter together, right? Yeah, Mercy started going by herself, was acting strange. It sounded pretty bad from what we heard. They seemed so close earlier. What does she mean by she knows what's going on? That sounds pretty serious. I don't know. I haven't anything that she could be referring to, but most of the pages are missing. That's an understatement. Most of the book is missing. We're not going to learn shit from this. Maybe we should just keep reading and see what we find. Right, there isn't a whole lot left. Most of this page is a lot of scribbling out. It's a little hard to figure out where each sentence even is. After taking a moment to figure out where we were amongst the carnage of lines, I'm able to carry on. She ain't returning any of my calls. She's leaving me on read. She's even fucking avoiding me at school. We share a fucking class. Where's he going? I tried asking the teacher, but since attendance isn't mandatory, they told me they couldn't tell me anything. Isn't I fucked up? It wasn't even that big of a deal. I just don't get why she wouldn't just talk to me about it instead of shutting me out. Like, there seems to be something erased earlier. There seems to be something erased right after this line, but this is different from the West. It is meticulously removed, unlike the other frantic scratching. Did she come back and erase this later on? Why? Weirdly, after that, there's significantly less random lines and removed text. The penmanship is improved too. I would say that she's calmed down, but it's sloppy in an entirely different way. Like she's drunk or on urge of passing out. Is this from a later time? I wish I had just replied. Maybe we could have avoided all this shit. Why did I just freeze up? She was being honest with me, and I stood there like I was ignoring her. But what the fuck was I supposed to say? That was fucking unfair of her. Why now? I wish I could call you. I wish you'd pick up and tell me what to do to fix this, but you've already abandoned me. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's all you people ever do. And that's where the writing ends, rather unceremoniously. The only thing left on the page is a single line of ink coming off the final period that streaks all the way to the bottom of the page. The ink looks like a water-based painting. All the ink is spreading out by some liquid, I can only assume, or tears. They've dried it by now, obviously, but I can only imagine how this looked on a day. It's strangely beautiful and haunting to see. That was a lot. It looks like everyone else is just as affected as I am. No one talks for several minutes as we process what we just heard. I've seen people at their lowest points. I've been there numerous times myself, but I've never seen someone so manic. Is that even the right word? I don't know. It was so full of hurt. It was like the words themselves were screaming at me. People have told me that reading a good poetry be like reading emotions right off a piece of paper, but I never believed them until now. Leigh's tail is still wrapped around me. I didn't realize how tightly he started constricting me. It's beginning to hurt, but he looks so distracted I don't even think he's noticed. Leigh, too tight. That jolts him out of it, and he slides it away from me, even puts his entire body further away from me to create a gap. Said, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't hurt you. No, I'm okay. I've had hugs that tight before. Now you're really starting to sound like Charlie. Pretty sure Charlie would have just sat you in the nuts. She sounds charming. You have no idea. It was a brief moment of levity, if a very welcome one, but it doesn't take long before the silence falls over us again. Lucas hasn't even said anything since we finished reading. He's just staring down at the diary like he's trying to burn a hole into it with his eyes. I guess I'll lead us off. It doesn't get us anywhere if we just stay quiet like this. Sorry. It is your fault. This is a lot, trust me. We're all feeling it. Yeah, this is a little downer for my taste, but we're through it at least. Am I right? She sounds really frantic. Whatever happened is definitely more than just her fight with Mercy. She mentioned her mom, right? Seems like something went wrong there. Do you think something happened to her? She said she couldn't get in contact with her. I doubt it. She mentioned being abandoned. Sounds like her mother just decided to start ignoring her. That might not be entirely true. Sometimes there's resentment there if something happens to them. Even if it wasn't up to them, they still left you. I definitely know what that kind of resentment feels like. It cuts deep into you, more than if they stabbed you themselves, because it might not have been their fault. Maybe it was yours as well. Wallace? Huh? If you want my opinion, I don't think it's either of those. What do you mean? For what you told us, it sounds like her mom wasn't in a good place anyway. She's upset because this happens a lot. She isn't mad. She's upset because it's happening again. That's probably why she's so upset for Mercy for whatever she did. She probably told her about it, and she still did this. That's a deep betrayal. I can't help but be reminded of Leigh and Charlie's fight. It wasn't anywhere near as messy as this, but there was some sharp cuts thrown by her. I wonder if she feels like Leigh's betrayed her. What did Mercy do then? I don't know. I don't really have any proof of this, but I think Mercy probably told her something she's dealing with, and Helena didn't help her out. But Helena was just stunned. She didn't do anything wrong or even decline to help her. She was just quiet for a bit. That doesn't seem fair. I told you, sometimes silence hurts more than anything else. It means they don't care enough to even decline. But Helena tried to get in contact with her. Why wouldn't she want to hear her out? Same, maybe. Who knows, man? It could even be that she just wanted to forget about it. Even forgetting her best friend, I can't believe that. Sometimes people aren't as close as you think. Or maybe you're too close or you need some distance. People are a bit weird like that, you know? But it sounds like we're just doing a lot of guessing. We'll do some more reading of this later. Yes! But it sounds like we're just doing a lot of guessing. We'll do some more reading of this later. Maybe we can even find out what happened between them. I'm more surprised he didn't try to get her roommate or boyfriend in on this. They were kind of left by the wayside. Sounds like she had bigger problems than them. This is more than just a fling or a boyfriend. This is your best friend. They mean more to you than anything, except maybe your family, if you're closer with them. I hate to lose my parents. I don't know what I'd do without them. Me too, things might have gotten rocky at home at one point, but we all love each other more than anything. If something happened to them, I don't know what I'd do. That's probably why she was more. That's probably why she was so distressed. Something was going on with her mother, and instead of staying with her, she was abandoned. I don't want to imply anything, Wallace, but she seems pretty unstable. I don't know, I just don't want to believe she'd hurt them. I think that's enough today, don't you guys think? It's getting a bit late, and the cafe will probably start kicking people out. I actually don't know how long cafes stay open, but we should anyway. Alright, before you go, can I talk to you and Leigh? That makes Leigh raise an eyebrow, but he doesn't push for an answer. He must have realized that this is what I was referring to this morning. Without the two of us, always being kicked out of the cool club, I thought we were close, man. It's not like that. I just wanted to speak to them privately. Don't take it the wrong way. Ignore him. He's just being annoying. Some things are private and we should respect that. Damn, when you say it like that, it sounds so rough. But it sounds too tough. Damn, when you say it like that, it sounds so tough. I like it, but I still prefer it when you're cute. Are you done? Nah, if these two want more privacy, I'll steal you away for a bit. Maybe you can introduce me to that roommate of yours you mentioned. What? I have studying to do. I can't just calm down. You can still do some studying back at your room, even if I'm there, right? I suppose. Then that won't be a problem, will it? I guess not. Fine. He didn't put up much of a fight. I'm not able to keep myself from chuckling, and if the girl is giggling is an indication, it doesn't sound like Lily was able to keep her composure. Thankfully, Lucas seems too preoccupied to notice. Especially when the officer gets up out of his chair and pulls Lucas' chair back, nearly scaring the poor fox half to death. Or scaring the poor. He didn't put much of a fight. I'm not able to keep myself from chuckling, and if the girl is giggling is any indication, it doesn't sound like Lily was able to keep her composure. Thankfully, Lucas seems too preoccupied to notice. Especially when Oscar gets up out of his chair and pulls Lucas's chair back, nearly scaring the poor fox half to death. I've never seen someone's fur puff out like that. At least Oscar's right about that. Lucas really is cute. Whoa, I didn't mean to scare you. Just wanted to get out of their hair. It's fine, let's just go. Lucas storms out of his chair. I thought maybe he's angrier than I thought. Even Oscar is watching him with a worried expression. But after a few seconds, he stops and checks to see if Oscar is coming to follow him. As soon as he sees that, the otter flashes us a massive grin and gives us one final wink before dashing off after Lucas. He looks so excited that he might as well be skipping. Sounds like the two of them are getting along pretty well. I guess Oscar was right after all. he really did just needed some time with him to wear him down, maybe. I'm not so sure about that. Lucas has gotten much nicer with him. I don't even think he insulted him once today. Oh, wow. I don't think he did. Well, I guess maybe the two of them deserve it. I think the kid deserves friends. And from the sounds of it, Oscar's about to meet someone who's going to keep him very entertained. Hopefully not in front of Lucas. I have a feeling that's the least of his problems. Agreed. So, Wallace, what do you need? Right, yeah, okay. Do you remember when you offered for me to stay at your place? I was wondering if I could take you up on your offer. To say her face lit up would be a massive understatement. She looks positively elated at the idea. Definitely, I have to talk to my dad, but I'm sure he'll say yes. We have spare room for you and Leigh to share. Oh, is Leigh coming too? I wish I wasn't being I wish I wasn't being surprised with this as well. But I promise Wallace I stay with him, and I still think Charlie's upset with me, so I think it's best I don't go home tonight. Is that bad? Probably not. If I'm being honest, we might be able to sit down and talk it out, but I think it would be best to leave it for. Probably not. If I'm being honest, we might be able to sit down and talk it out, but I think it would be best to leave it be for now. I don't want her to feel smothered. Apparently, I'm pretty bad at that. The laugh lets out. The laugh he lets out afterwards is so smooth that I can't help but smile along with him. I know it's just my love-struck heart, but it's hard to not feel charmed right now. God, you two are adorable. If you act like that around my place, I think my dad would feel even more comfortable. As soon as he figures out you guys are gay, it'll be smooth sailing from there. He wouldn't let us stay if we weren't. I didn't say that. Just that there would be a lot more questions and a whole lot of suspicion. He sounds terrifying and huge. Honestly, I'm kind of scared what happens when I take a boy home. Maybe I'll find someone scrawny and cute that I could kick their ass in a fight. He'll probably give them a pass. Is that what you want? It depends. I don't want him to just be a jittery mess, but he can still be slick in a twig. Give me those thin wogus types that you see in fantasy movies. That'll be the dream. You got a wild imagination. I prefer to think of it as hunting for someone I deserve. Always set high standards for yourself and never settle for less than good. After all, it sounds like you guys scored pretty well. We'll see. You don't think Wallace is a good fit? That's a bad sign. We'll see. You don't think Wallace is a good fit? That's a bad sign. The teasing tone makes it clear she isn't serious, but that doesn't help the spike to my heart rate at Leigh's comment. What did he mean by that? My poker face needs work because Leigh immediately notices my distress. No, don't twist that. Fuck. I just mean, we still have to sort things out. We're not even dating yet. I know, I'm just teasing. Testing the waters is always a good thing. Just don't. Sorry, I fucked up. No, it's okay. I will admit you kind of scared me there for a second, but I know you care a lot for me. Honestly, way more than I probably deserve, considering how long we've known each other. Leigh seems like a pretty naturally protective guy, so once he started feeling stuff for you, he was done for. Truly romantic. God, I wish that was me. Jesus, can we get off of this? We'll need to get prepared for staying at Lily's house. How long will we be there? How long can we stay there for? And that's a little harder to answer, maybe for the rest of the week. That's probably the most I could do. And even then, Dad might cut it down to until Friday. That'll do. Just see what you can get us, and thanks for trying. Anytime. We all gotta sit together after all, just considering me, your fairy godmother, or maybe your matchmaker. How about a therapist? Now that sounds like a good idea. I'll keep that in mind. Sadly, I'll have to cut this short to go call my dad. He'll be working for a bit longer, so I'll need to do this now before he gets stuck in traffic. That's okay, like Leigh said, we'll need to get our stuff. And I'll be taking this. He scoops up the doggy from the table, weighing it in her hands like it's some piece of jewelry. Huh? Don't worry, I'll give it back. Just consider this incentive to be good. You can't read it by yourself if it's at my house, right? There's a part of me that really wants to argue with her, but I don't know why I do that. It's not like it matters at all, and the thought that I want to fight for this makes me feel a little unsettled. Sure, that makes sense. Great, toodles. Leigh doesn't even say goodbye, just giving her a grunt as he focuses on me. For a second, I thought he was gonna probe me about what I'm feeling, but he just stands up and offers me his hand. Come on, your house is along the way. We're not splitting up? Nah, it won't save us much time. And I kinda need you to get my stuff from my place. I don't think Charlie would want to see me. Didn't you say that you'd probably be okay with her? That's if we sat down and talked it out. If I just came in, grabbed my shit, and left immediately, she'd be pissed off. Won't she be pissed at me then? I doubt it. I think she'll understand that I'm just giving her space if she sees you. She doesn't blame you for anything. Still feels like I'm being made into a sacrificial lamb. I wouldn't let that. I wouldn't let anything happen to you. Alright. It wouldn't hurt to check in on her too, I guess. Maybe I'll tell her Oscar's been trying to get into contact with her. Maybe I should go in. Maybe I should go in. Might be better than dealing with Oscar knowing everything. I'm sure it won't be that bad. I hope not. Lee's apartment is just as tidy as ever. It really does seem like whoever owns this place keeps it very well maintained. But as soon as we got to this door, Leigh looks much less certain. Are you sure that you don't want to talk to her? I know her. It'll just make her more upset. Still feels kind of wrong. Could you come in with me at least? I think she'd still like to see you. If you don't talk, I don't think that's a good idea. And you're really sure? Trust me, she'll see you walking in and know what's going on. We've done the song and dance enough times before. You made other people grab stuff for you when she's angry at you? No, I usually just sneak in the window. That stopped being an option once we stopped living in an only 2-story building. Well, I'll do it. I hope she isn't mad. Wallace, do you really think I would send you in if I thought you'd get scolded? No, probably not. I would have thought you'd have gone in even if there was almost no chance, just to be sure. You're a big boy. Why am I always an adult when it suits you? You always were an adult. I'm just trying my best to treat you like one. I feel like my words are getting thrown in my face. It happens. Fine, I'll go. I checked the text from Leigh one last time to make sure there isn't anything obvious there isn't anything obvious. I checked the text from Leigh one last time to make sure there isn't anything obvious missing that I need to ask him, but it's just what you expect. Clothes, toothbrush, some medicine, and his phone charger. Leigh unlocks the door and lets me inside. I expected to see Charlie sitting on the couch watching TV, but it's turned off, and there doesn't seem to be any signs of her in the living room or kitchen at all. Maybe she's at soccer practice or at a friend's place. Then again, I feel like Leigh would have told me if she had soccer practice today. The place looks almost the exact same as when I was last here. I don't know how much Charlie's done while I haven't been here, but she must be pretty independent even though she's so young. Either that or she's just got money to take. Either that or she's just got money to buy a lot of takeout. Or to buy a lot of takeout. So you're finally back, huh? Charlie walks out of the bathroom with a scowl on my face. Or her face. She's not even looking my way, and I get the feeling she's trying to give me the cold shoulder. She doesn't continue saying anything, just standing there in front of the door like she's waiting for something, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Thankfully, I must have taken too long to do anything because she shoots daggers in my direction, causing my fur to nearly jump off of my skin, but it only lasts a moment before I start to express and covers her face. Wallace? Where's Ashley? Is he fucking hiding in my room? No, he's outside. He thought you might still need some space. Fucking typical. Decides to side with Dad, and now he's acting just like him. What a dickhead. That's not really fair. You know that isn't what he meant. Her expression drops, and it's like all the fire drains out of her. It's strange seeing her so out of energy that leaves me speechless. I know. But that doesn't excuse what he did. He was an asshole. You wouldn't get it. You don't know how bad it was. He told me things that happened. Not all of them, but some things. He did? That's surprising. He doesn't like saying that unless he has to. Makes sense, though. He really likes you. Do you want to talk to him? I could probably tell him to come inside. Not unless he's willing to sit down fucking talking about this shit. I don't want some half-assed sorry, and then he leaves to go well his cute boyfriend. We haven't. Not the point, Wallace. I'm guessing he's just coming over here to get something, right? Yeah, my nightmares have been getting worse, so I thought it might be best if I stay at Lily's place for the week, and Leigh offered to join me. Of course he would. That idiot would hammer a nail into his head if he thought it would help someone. You don't think it's a good idea? No, I agree with him. If it's as bad as it sounds like his company might help. Maybe I'll come over tomorrow, sit out with Leigh, and keep you company as well. That sounds amazing. I think Lily would love that, maybe. Probably best to ask her yourself. Yeah, I haven't really been checking my texts. Not really been in the mood. Also a little worried. You should probably send him a text. Though I have a feeling I know what you two will end up talking about. Let me guess, you two did some couple shit out in public? Gross, man. No, well, yes, but it wasn't that bad. Sure, man, I'm just messing with you. I mean, it is a little gross, but that's because it's him, not because of you. Just thinking about it makes me want to hurl. Do you have stuff to get? He's gonna get worried if you want. If you make him wait, then he'll come in and God knows what happens then. Right, I said do it. You're way more of an airhead than I thought. Just head into my room. I'm gonna chill on the couch and see what I've missed. And just like that, she leaves me alone, and as she whips out her phone and chilling on the couch, still altering to keep the TV off, I'm left standing there surprised at how abruptly that ended. I guess things weren't that serious between them, but it sounded pretty bad. Then again, when I got into fights with Marcus, it was kind of like this too. Sometimes I absolutely hate him, absolutely hate him, and refused to even acknowledge him, but he was also my best friend, so I cared about him more than anyone else. I'd be mad, but if he needed me, I probably would have been there in a heartbeat. I have a feeling it's the same way with them. Things are a little strained right now, but they're willing to talk it out and move on. They just need time to do the talking. But for now, I need to focus on getting what he needs. I don't think he appreciates waiting out there too long. It takes a little bit of searching to find exactly where all Leigh's stuff is kept. I considered going out and asking Charlie to be my guide, but it sounds like she's finally getting back into a good mindset, and knowing her might not be the best thing to do. So I searched through the single set of drawers, trying to remember if Leigh told me exactly where he kept his stuff when I was here last. I could have sworn he did, but I didn't store that hard enough in my memory. That is until I find a very familiar pink shirt. It's a princess crop top that he wore earlier. It's situated alongside many other similarly Reese outfits. There's a temptation to look through all of them, but I don't think he appreciated that. Or maybe he would. After all, we are. Never mind. Either way, I have a feeling he'd rather be here with me if we did this anyway. But just as I'm about to push it away, I decide to grab out the crop top just in case he wants to wear it again. He did say he missed them. It couldn't hurt to bring one, right? I shoved it into the backpack I brought with me to store Leigh's belongings before returning to my search, though it doesn't take me much longer to find his regular shirts in the middle drawer next to the one containing Leigh's high school era. After filling up the bag with few of them and making quick work hunting down the pants, I'm done with the clothes. Grabbing everything else should be a breeze. Charlie helps me find his charger, which is connected to a port hidden by the couch he sleeps on, and points out which of the pills I'll need to take with us. There's quite a few in there, but she just said they didn't use most of them anymore. I don't really know what most of these are, but the main thing I bring with me is an ointment and pills, neither of which Charlie thought were very needed for just a week away, but see, I don't really know what most of these are, but the main thing I bring with me is an ointment and pills, neither of which Charlie thought were very needed for just a week away, but she didn't argue much. Before I knew it, she was shooing me out of the room, though she did do one final checkup on me to make sure I was doing well as teasing me for being cute with Leigh at the cafe. Austin must have told her. He wasn't even trying to hide that he was watching, or was very bad at it. By the time I'm out of the room, I feel much more exhausted. Leigh's just leaning against the opposite wall of his phone, though right now he's just watching me with an amused expression. He took her time. She wanted to talk. I can't imagine. She wasn't mad at you, right? No, she was really nice, actually. I expected her to be more upset. She's a small girl, and way too mature for her age. She's not going to take it out on someone who doesn't deserve it. I knew you'd be fine. She was kind of scary, though. It's a bad habit for her. Doesn't help that she likes it. She enjoys intimidating the boys. She's not going to get a boyfriend like that. I have a feeling she wouldn't appreciate hearing that. What's she's going to do? Get mad at me? See how I did that. Right. Hey, Leigh. I'm not going to like this, am I? I just wanted to say, maybe you shouldn't come with me to Lily's. It sounds like maybe the two of you should talk things out, and I didn't see him moving across the room, but I certainly felt his hands land on my shoulders, forcing my attention on him as he stares deep into my ears, in my eyes, excuse me. I didn't see him moving across the room, but I suddenly felt his hands land on my shoulders, forcing my attention on him as he stares deep into my eyes. Wallace, kid, I told you. I want to be there. You're not forcing me to do anything. We'll be fine. I'm her brother. Hating me sometimes is her job. Did she sound upset at what I was doing? No, she agreed with you, actually. I told you, but you're a kid, an absolute menace, and I wouldn't trust her for a second with many things, but I trust her to any but I trust her to understand when something's important. And you're important to me. Really? Right, stupid question. It's cute, but you worry me. I've been getting that a lot lately. Did you get everything at least? I think so. Mostly just grab you want Mostly just grab what you usually wear, plus something extra in case you wanted to wear it. Did Charlie put you up to that? No, I thought I should grab it. Why is that? Just in case you wanted to wear it. You said you've been missing them, so I thought you might feel it. So you might feel like wearing it one day. Thanks, I mean it. I don't know. I don't know if I will, but I appreciate having a choice. It's been growing on me, man. You didn't get, you didn't get it because you wanted me to wear it. I guess this was a hint, especially after that night in the club. Also, I think you look good no matter what you wear. You're really hot. It's a struggle to get out. I never really gave my, I never really gave many compliments on people's appearances other than family. This has a whole different meaning to it. But the moment the last word leaves my lips, his expression changes into something soft and he pulls himself against me, giving me a now familiar gesture of pressing his nose into my fur. I got really lucky. What do you mean? That someone as precious as you is interested in me like that. His hands, which have left my shoulders, are moved and moved to resting on my hip, his grip no less tighter than before. He's not constricting his movements, but it's clear that he could if he wanted. I won't lie, it makes me want to hide you away in bed and not let you leave. That doesn't sound too bad. If only you knew the kind of thoughts that are going through my head. They might be a bit much for you right now. Only man, now they're good thoughts, just might be a little overwhelming for you. We need time before we get there. I would like to hear about them later. Hmm. He takes one more deep breath before releasing hot air down the back of my neck, trickling my body into arching against him, though I'm not even sure that's his intention. But it's enough to make him growl and squeeze my hips tighter. The claws started to dig into the fabric for only a moment before he tears himself away, his eyes looking a bit more wilder than moments ago. That's a bit intense. Don't worry, I'm not some wild animal. I didn't dislike it. Careful, you might encourage me to do more, and that's a big commitment. But we'll talk about it another time, okay? I can do that. The fur on the back of my neck is still standing on end, and my spine still feels tingly from the involuntary movement, but there are not bad sensations. And it doesn't look like Leigh is disapproving either. If anything, he's looking much livelier than he has all day. His tail is almost attacking my own with how much it tries to keep contact. In. makes me feel safe. Alright, so it's gonna be one more video, and then we'll be up to date with this current update. With everything so far for Leigh's route. Now, there's a new update for Leigh on the Patreon for Violent Memoir, so I don't know when it's gonna come out. Maybe later this month or sometime in December. But once that comes out, we'll cover that new update. But for right now, at least, we got one more video to do. That will be done with Leigh's route for now. So everybody discussing about Helena, and Helena feels like her friend Mercy abandoned her. And everybody gave their own thoughts about why Mercy might have abandoned Helena. Some saying that maybe Helena didn't care about Helena as much as Helena thought she did. Or maybe she just didn't want to come, they didn't want to make Helena just didn't, or Mercy. Maybe Mercy just didn't want to confront Helena because it's kind of difficult to explain why you did, especially when it hurts your friend. So maybe Helena didn't want to confront, be honest to Helena about whatever she's doing. Anyway, Oscar and Leigh and what guy's name? The Fox. All of them gave their insight, as well as Lily, about what's been going on with Helena and Mercy. And Charlie's still mad at Leigh, to a point where they had to stay at Lily's place. So, yeah, still mad because she thinks Leigh is taking their father's side. And if you watch the video where they learned that their father just got killed, then you know all that about why she's mad at Leigh and what kind of father he was to them. Alright, so we're going to finish off what's left of Leigh's route. So thank y'all very much for watching. Goodbye.